Here is a trainee doctor who works for 32 to 36 hours non-stop, and then she doesn't have a restroom to sleep.
Yeah.
She looks around and she goes to the seminar room. And at 3 a.m. somebody comes in, alcoholic, and rapes her so brutally. And my feeling is that this is not the first time he's committed rape. But this braveheart fought it out and he had to murder her. So who has failed her? The system has failed her. We have failed her. By the time we finish this interview, if this is of 1 hour, 4 rapes would have happened.
So what can we do to identify such people, and what can we do on a legal front to prevent them from being free in society?
Even here in Badlapur, it's shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking.
And the police inspector who did not register the FIR told them go away. You know what the cop tells him there? अरे वो तो रास्ते में कहीं उतर गई होगी, किसी लड़के के साथ भाग गई होगी, आपको क्या मालूम? They don't want an FIR to be registered because it spoils their track record that there is more crime happening in their area.
Correct.
So that's why they try to do an NC.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, NC is a piece of paper which you should throw in the garbage. If a cop refuses to write an FIR, he can be put behind bars too. 6 months imprisonment is provided.
What are some of the laws that are there for women that we can educate them about right now?
If a 4-year-old child and a 80-year-old woman, they both are facing sexual assault, then the society is perverted, the cops are lazy, the law has failed. This is all I can say. I was handling the Salman Khan hit and run case. These are the 18 mistakes which were committed during investigation, which is why Salman Khan got the benefit. You can see UPSC is no longer foolproof.
Yeah.
NEET exam is no longer foolproof. So an exam which is supposed to give you so much of power position, if an undeserving person comes, just like the civic police volunteer in Kolkata, an undeserving person was made a police volunteer, and this young trainee doctor lost her life in such a gruesome manner.
Let's talk about Bilkis Bano, for example.
Yes, that is one case which makes us hang our heads in shame.
What is the role of the CBI?
I'm reminded of the Sushant Singh Rajput case, because there also the CBI came and everybody had an agenda saying that it is a murder, not suicide, because there were Bihar elections at that time and he was from Bihar. Till now, we have not got the report from CBI. You think CBI cannot be compromised?
Yeah.
If the local police is compromised, why can't CBI be compromised?
The entire nation is shaken with the Kolkata rape case, a crime so gruesome that one wonders how can minds even conjure it up. In that light, we have prominent lawyer and activist Abha Singh, who will take us through the legal context of the case. We will dive into the broader issue of women's safety in India, what causes these crimes, and delayed justice in rape cases. Abha ma'am also breaks down laws designed for women's safety. She breaks down what has caused systemic failures, along with what actionable steps we as society can take to bring about change. It's an important conversation to understand your rights, the laws, and how you can take your safety in your own hands. Thank you so much for doing this with us, Abha ma'am. It's an absolute pleasure to have you, and it's on a subject that is very relevant today. So thank you so much for coming.
I will thank Humans of Bombay for taking up such relevant issues to talk about. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, there's a uproar in the country, of course, with the recent rape and murder that has happened in Calcutta. But, since Nirbhaya, there have been so many such cases, right, in Unnao, in Kathua. And the uproar happens when it's extremely gruesome. But the truth and the fact of the matter remains that rape and women's security is such a large issue in our country that it's truly never under the carpet, right? You're always looking over your shoulder. Girls are scared to be out at night. Parents of girls are scared to send them to schools and colleges. And in this uproar, we somehow forget that it's a constant worry in our lives. So what is your headspace after this case and when you've read about it and understood the legalities?
Just the very thought about the Kolkata rape, it actually brings shivers down the spine. If you think, what would have that trainee doctor gone through that night? You're sleeping, and suddenly you have a sexual predator just overpowering you. pushing you towards the wall. If you see, I mean, the whole picture which comes, that she was wearing her glasses because she was working on the laptop and she fell asleep. The glass going in your eyes, blood coming out of your eyes. I mean, it's really traumatic.
Yeah.
But then the second moment, I'm filled with anger. I'm enraged actually, because this happened in a government medical college. I mean, in your workspace. When Supreme Court, as early as 1997, Vishakha guidelines, which came after the Bhanwari Devi rape case, that workplace has to be made safe.
Correct.
In fact, after that, we got the POSH Act, which is now called SHAW, Protection of Women from Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act. And it said that making workplace safe is equivalent to right to life.
Yeah.
Because Article 21 says right to life is a fundamental right. So it was equivalent because right to safety is my fundamental right.
Correct.
And Supreme Court came down heavily and said workplace has to be safe. So here is a trainee doctor who works for 32 to 36 hours non-stop, and then she doesn't have a restroom to sleep.
Yeah.
She looks around and she goes to the seminar room on the second floor, which is deserted, does not have light, and she falls asleep in one of the rooms, which has no doors to close from inside. It's an open door. And at 3 a.m. somebody comes in, alcoholic, predator, abuser, and rapes her so brutally.
Yeah.
So who has failed her? The system has failed her. We have failed her. The institute has failed her because workplace and a government medical college. If she was on the deserted road, if she was partying, people would have said, she was out, she was partying, she was wearing revealing clothes, how victim shaming, victim blaming, whatever we do. But here she was doing her duty and it happens in a workplace.
Yeah.
So that the government has to answer. And I think that is why the doctors are also on the road, that you want to make us work round the clock, but you can't give us these basic facilities like a restroom, a washroom.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
here we talk of being a 5 trillion economy. We are launching Chandrayans and this, that, we are talking all that. And here a poor girl has to fight for survival.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's absolute anger with the system. And now what is even worse is that politicians are now trying to trivialize it. It is one party against the other. One party will say, you did not do, Manipur rape you didn't handle, Kathua you didn't do, Hathras you didn't do. But I am asking, it's a girl, it's a woman who's been raped and murdered. So why is it not a woman thing? Why is it not a girl safety?
Correct.
So,
Right.
and when you talked of Kathua, that time we had done a protest at Carter Road.
Okay. Yes.
And we were 4 or 5 NGOs. We came together. I run an NGO called Run Summer. Through that, I work for women in the slums or facing domestic violence. So at that time, we said, no, we need to protest because there's a girl child. Again, there a cop was involved.
Yeah.
So we went for permission to the police station. That is, it was Santa Cruz or Ville Parle police station.
Yeah.
They did not give us permission to use mics. See, even now when I'm talking to you, there's a proper thing where you could really disseminate what you are speaking. So what they do in Mumbai and other places, half the time they have something called Section 144. That means more than 5 people cannot assemble in a public place. So that means if you want to speak out, if you want to protest, you can't do that.
Yeah.
See, even here, I think the doctors are doing it in their premises or how they are doing it. But I know in that protest at Carter Road, they didn't allow us mics. So, and suddenly we saw an upsurge of people in Mumbai. I would say I'm proud of Mumbaikars that for such issues, they always come out.
Yes.
And we were more than 1,000 people with no mic. So I said, okay. Next day, I went and I filed a PIL in Bombay High Court and I said, right to dissent is my fundamental right.
Yeah.
It is pertaining to my freedom of speech and expression. And the very fact you don't give me a loudspeaker, how do I address the people?
Correct.
And Section 44 is something which cannot be put day in and out.
Right.
There has to be a policy. So then the local police was summoned and the High Court did the hearing. And you know what order I got from the Bombay High Court? It said, only in places, silence zones. Through your Humans of Bombay, I would like to make the people of Mumbai aware that police can only stop you from using loudspeakers in silence zones, and silence zones are only that area surrounding a hospital or a school.
Wow.
So that way, even if it's a marine drive you want to do, it's your right to have a loudspeaker. You can protest, you can dissent. And the court clearly said, Mrs. Singh, we are going to see to it that you get your right to dissent.
Yeah.
As per the law of the land. So that's what I'm telling you, you know, I'm with the people if they are protesting, they are doing dharnas, morchas, because every 15 minutes, by the time we finish this interview, if this is of 1 hour, 4 rapes would have happened. And these are government figures, NCRB figures, that in India, every 15 minutes a rape happens.
And that's reported.
That's
there are
reported.
So many unreported.
So right. That's a reported rape.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the reason why these protests and Reclaim the Night was a huge movement that happened even now is because people are infuriated as to what is it going to take women's security at a level where it should be, right? Like since Nirbhaya to now, we only get this surge of media and this surge of protests when these cases are gruesome.
Yes.
But what about these women who, like you mentioned, every hour 4 reported cases of rape? Even in this case, right? And this is, obviously there's a huge media frenzy around the Kolkata rape case. The victim's identity has been revealed. There were photos and videos that were circulating and just openly spread on social media. A lot of information about what went wrong, right? We were talking offline about the FIR not being filed for 12 hours. And you were telling me that this is normal. This is exactly
Very
what
normal.
happens. It's just come to light because the case is so severe. Other things like tampering of evidence because of construction happening right across where the incident took place. So what are the legal implications that people can understand from a verified source of the entire case? What is right? What is wrong? On what fronts can this be fought?
See, like you said, tampering of evidence. If you remember the Arushi murder case.
Yes.
In that, evidence was actually tampered. They approached the doctors who were going to do the post-mortem that please don't give the real facts. So, you know, I'm happy that now people are talking about it. But it has happened down the times, you know, FIR, we have to really fight with the police station that please register the FIR, because till the time an FIR is done, you can't do investigation, you can't search, you can't raid. So, here Supreme Court says that without even registering the murder rape FIR, how you've gone for post-mortem. These are the things which the Chief Justice has pointed out. And also that in Kolkata they wrote unnatural death.
Yes.
Of course, there are 2 ways of doing an FIR if a death has happened. Because if you don't know what the reason is of the death, or see, if it is an unnatural death, it clearly means it's either a suicide or a murder.
Correct.
So Kolkata police wrote unnatural death. When you could see it was obvious that she had been sexually assaulted. I don't want to say the gory details, but one could make out, and the parents are saying it's a murder. So somebody calls up and says she committed suicide. Yes. So again, you know, I don't know how many people remember the Esther rape and murder case. Esther was a techie who got down at Kurla terminus in Mumbai a couple of years back, and she did not reach her hostel. So parents were waiting that she would reach her hostel and she would call up. She didn't call up. So immediately they called her uncle who was living in Mumbai that please go and check. Her mobile is switched off. So uncle went, he didn't find her there. So immediately he went to Kurla terminus, Kurla railway station to lodge an FIR. You know what the cop tells him there? अरे वो तो रास्ते में कहीं उतर गई होगी, किसी लड़के के साथ भाग गई होगी, आपको क्या मालूम? Can you imagine? Her mobile is switched off. She's not told the parents. She has got down at 5 a.m. So then they started looking at the CCTV footage and all. And police could not even find the body. It was the relatives who kept searching the Vikhroli salt pan area. And it was the relatives of Esther who found her finally raped and murdered. And if this happens in Mumbai, and the police says कि वो कहीं उतर गई होगी. After that also, I mean, I went and I was talking to you. I said, why don't you come and work on this? Because we filed an PIL in Bombay High Court of missing girls. Yeah. That this process itself, that when a parent or a guardian comes and says that the girl child is missing, why you should not register an FIR immediately?
Yeah.
And why should you say that the train started from Hyderabad, so you go there, register there?
Yeah.
Only after the protests like these and cases like ours, the concept of zero FIR came. That now you are not going to say jurisdiction, whether it was in Chennai or Mumbai, but if I have come to any police station to say my daughter is missing or my kid is missing, you have to register an FIR, and you will register in Kurla, and even if the incident was of Chennai, you will transfer the FIR.
Correct.
So now this is something which has come very important, is zero FIR, which everyone should know. And if Supreme Court is saying that 12 hours is too long a time, I am more than happy. Because if it's a cognizable offence, now we have the new law called BNS, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which clearly says that if it is a cognizable offence, that means if it has more than 3 years imprisonment, if it's a murder, rape, FIR has to be registered on the spot.
Yeah.
So it is your right to get the FIR registered. You should be given the copy of the FIR in the language you know.
Correct.
You know, a lot of times people in Mumbai who go, like, I don't know if you know Marathi, at least I am not good with Marathi. But if I go to register an FIR and I'm given it in Marathi and made to sign, at times it happens that police will put sections which are, they water down the sections.
Yeah.
You know, rather than saying kidnapped, they will say missing or gone away somewhere. So when the case comes for trial in the court, this FIR is so weak that it doesn't stand in the court. So, you know, it is necessary that we as citizens should insist that the FIR has to be written in the language we know. If I know Hindi, you give it to me in Hindi.
Yeah.
If I know Assamese, you give it to me in Assamese. That is the law of the land.
Right.
Mumbai police is bound to get the FIR translated. When you sign, it should be in the language which you know.
No. Okay.
So, and if evidence is tampered, it's an offense.
Correct.
So these people who are tampering evidence, they should be put behind bars.
Yeah.
And also people who have not written the FIR. There is earlier in the IPC, it used to be 166A of the IPC, but now the section has changed that if a cop refuses to write an FIR, he can be put behind bars too. 6 months imprisonment is provided. So go like a king, go like a queen, and insist that you write the FIR. Otherwise, I'm going to do a counter FIR on you for not writing my FIR.
Yeah. No, it's important for people to know that.
Yes.
100%.
That you are not at their mercy.
Yeah.
I mean, as a taxpayer, you are paying their salary. And as a citizen of this country, it's your right to get an FIR.
100%. So when you talk about evidence tampering, right, there are so many stakeholders that are involved in this particular case. For example, the principal who sanctioned the work to happen opposite this seminar room. When there were protests, the mob that came and destroyed the hospital completely. What is the authenticity of the evidence left thereafter now?
You know, number one is that this repair work, I think, would have been approved from much before. Not the day the death happened and he approved it. So this theory, I am not not easy for me to take that the moment it happened, they will come and destroy the evidence. Because nobody would do it publicly when it is such a public case.
Correct.
You know, and CBI has taken over in 5 days. Yeah. Also, the fault of the principal was, and which even rightly the Supreme Court has pointed out, that it should have been him lodging the FIR rather than the parents coming and saying that parents filing an FIR because it was in the government premise. Secondly, the outrage and anger is rightly so true that he was removed but immediately put in another equally important position. So the message is sent that you're trivializing such an important case. Here a trainee doctor has been raped and murdered. Rather than penalizing that principal, you are garlanding him by giving him a good posting.
In 24 hours.
Yeah. Right approach would have been suspend him because it was his duty to provide safety security. If there were no CCTV cameras, if there were no proper lighting, it was your job to provide.
Correct.
Also, why Calcutta Police is at the receiving end, that this rapist was a civic police volunteer.
Yeah.
He was getting a salary from the West Bengal government. He was on the Kolkata Police Welfare Board, going to other districts to talk about women's safety.
Yeah.
When he himself was such a rapist and a deviant pervert.
Correct.
So, my question is that how could such people be put in positions of power like this?
Right.
So then you come to the basic question that there is a shortage of cops. There's a shortage of police officers. You say Tariq pe Tariq that cases take years because there's a shortage of judges, there's a shortage of cops. Why is there a shortage? It is not that this government is short of money. You know, every year we are giving more than 1 lakh crores for food subsidy. Because we are getting votes from the people.
Correct.
So when you can spend lakhs of crores as revdi freebies, you can't provide washrooms, toilets for women. You can't recruit cops to do safety security. There should have been women cops in that thana outside the hospital. Rather than picking up these, and he was from a political party, a hooligan from political party, but you give them a salary from the government and you give him a badge of a civic police volunteer.
Correct. And now the CBI has even released a statement that he showed no remorse.
He was a pervert.
Yeah, while giving a statement, which brings us to the next question is that there was extreme pornography found on his phone. He was known to have previously beaten his wives.
3 wives.
3 wives who had also raised complaints, but to no heed, of course. And now he was an alcoholic. Even there was child pornography that he was watching. And after all this, like you said, he was part of the government. And operating and working on a government salary, which is just shocking to say the least, because there doesn't seem to be any form of vetting, which you can even connect with this Badlapur case, where a person was hired to clean or to be a part of the school premises without proper vetting and was given free access to the girls' toilet, right? That's exactly what had happened. What is it that we can do or the government can do to better understand what is the psyche of these rapists? Because this is such a clear, like if anybody tracks his history, it's so clear, right, that there's something wrong with this person, but it's only come to light after the case, after it's terribly gone wrong. So what can we do to identify such people, and what can we do on a legal front to prevent them from being free in society?
Exactly, Criminal Law Amendment Act came in 2013 after Nirbhaya of Delhi, and now the hashtag was Nirbhaya 2. And I said, it's 2, then it'll be 3, then it'll be 4, means in spite of giving death penalty for rape, there is no fear of the law.
Correct.
This man has gone scot-free all the time. Either those women, if the first wife had raised an alarm that he is a, abuser, he beats, then how he got, nobody would have given his daughter. Second wife, third wife, now he was married 4th time. So this shows that women have to fight the patriarchy. Parents are giving their daughters to this guy who was beating wife, black and blue. So the mindset, we have to fight with this mindset first, that such men need to be boycotted. When you're bringing up your boys, you have to teach them that, look, it's not right to beat your wife, beat your sister, because the patriarchy is the biggest thing which is responsible. Why we have honor killings? So many things happen. I mean, dowry deaths. Dowry deaths also, if you see, every hour a dowry death takes place. India, brides are burnt because they have not brought car, they've not bought household items. Can you imagine a young bride being burnt in her kitchen? So somewhere I feel the law is supposed to not only give punishment, but also there is a deterrence theory. The deterrence theory of jurisprudence says that you have to fear the law.
Correct.
And even death penalty has not been able to scare him, because you said rightly that there is no remorse. He had all pornography. And that's what I said. If you recruit government employees, you do police verification, you do all that. But if you're keeping these temporary employees, Badlapur was also, that cleaner was a temporary employee.
He was from an agency that was recruited.
And this also was a temporary employee who was not even a regular staff, but you gave him all the powers of a regular staff. He was caught sleeping in a police barrack. And if he has unhindered access, he could enter the hospital anytime, because he had the label of a volunteer, police volunteer. So I think this should be stopped. This practice needs to be stopped. If you are getting these security guards, then the character verification is a must. Police verification is a must. Their old track record is a must. Because if you remember in Wadala, a young law intern was raped and murdered by the watchman of the building. This happened 10 years back. And he managed to switch off the light of the building. And this girl was alone. She would call up the security saying, and he was switching off the light of her building only because he wanted to rape her.
Yeah.
So, like, how can we get guards and security
Even
guards?
this guy admitted to the CBI that he was there the day prior and watching her in some part of the hospital and had his eyes on her the day prior in broad daylight at 11 a.m. I read this today morning. And if he has such free access where he can watch and roam as freely, having the record that he has, it's like you're just it's an open free invitation for him, right? For him to continue what he's always been doing without being stopped.
And my feeling is that this is not the first time he's committed rape. He must have committed before, but this braveheart fought it out and he had to murder her. So the CBI needs to talk to other girls also, other trainees, because at times we've seen, as we talked of reported, many people don't report because it's a stigma.
It is a stigma.
So maybe he knows. And my feeling is that this is not the first time he's done it.
Yeah.
So, and he came in the night, because he would know that people sleep there is no restroom. So, and even here in Badlapur, it's shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking.
And the police inspector who did not register the FIR told them go away. They have just transferred her.
Yeah.
She should have been suspended. In fact, she should have been put behind bars.
Yes.
Under the law of the land, which says if you don't register an FIR pertaining to crime against women, of sexual harassment or rape, then you can be arrested. And this
why is she not being arrested?
That's what I'm saying. In fact, people should ask for that. Because this law came after 2013, after the Nirbhaya
case.
So this cop who did not register the FIR, she should be behind bars. And I'm telling you, the moment they arrest her and put her behind bars, the message will go to all the cops pan-India that, look, it is your duty to register.
Yeah.
Because generally a lot of cops, that's what I've seen in my career, that they don't want an FIR to be registered because it spoils their track record that there is more crime happening in their area.
Correct.
So that's why they try to do an NC.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, NC is a piece of paper which you should throw in the garbage because it has no legal value per se.
Correct. Yeah.
It is an FIR which gives you the right to get the case properly investigated. And NC is just a hoax.
Right.
So, I think once action is taken on this cop, things would definitely change. We need accountability.
Correct.
If only conviction is 28%, these are the latest 2022 NCRB figures, that conviction rate is only 28 to 29%. So that means more than half the rapists are going scot-free.
Yeah.
So there is something wrong with the system.
Correct.
And we need to rectify the system. Protest is fine, but I want that it should not end just with the protest.
Correct.
We should go to the logical end if we want to feel safe. Like, I also have a daughter, and as she was growing up, I was always worried that even now, she's a cop now. But, if she's going for a raid at odd hours, I am worried till the time she doesn't come home, so we live in fear all the time.
Exactly.
So I think it's a fundamental right that this fear factor goes, and this time the government needs to really sit and give us a solution how to make the girls safe, how to make the women safe. Because if a 4-year-old child and an 80-year-old woman, they both are facing sexual assault, then the society is perverted, the cops are lazy, the law has failed. This is all I can say.
Correct, 100%. Which was bringing me to my next question is, we're all in this mode of we must protest because as citizens, we don't know what else to do, right? Like, we need to make the government aware and cognizant that this is not sitting right with us as a society. But what is the logical outcome of a protest? How can it lead to a legal change or some kind of actual on-ground change within the system so that it's not just a protest?
Yes.
There's an action point that can be taken. What can that be?
See, because Kathua people protested, the rapists were caught. But after that, we have not followed whether it has been convicted, what punishment they have got. So it is important that once a case like this happens, we should stand with the family, pro bono lawyers should come fight the case. If there are witnesses, then you need to have a witness protection, because lots of time the criminals have the muscle power, so they threaten the victims, they threaten the witness. So at times, at the time of trial, the witness, they don't turn up, they don't give their statement, or even the victim, she turns hostile. She said, no, it didn't happen. Because what happens, it's a tariq pe tariq. If the case is going, like even the Nirbhaya rapists, they were hanged after 11 years of the crime. So it was such a long time that the connect between the crime and punishment is gone. People have lost interest. The message which should have gone to the society that, look, if you did such a heinous offense, you have been hanged. So it should be, when we talk of fast track courts, then within 30 days, you should mete out the punishment, not keep them for so many years. Like in so many cases, it's seen that death penalty is given by the lower court. By the time the matter reaches the Supreme Court, it's 10 years, 12 years, and the Supreme Court converts the death penalty into life imprisonment. And life imprisonment, gradually, if you are politically connected, it is commuted and you are let off. Or you get parole and furlough and you jump your parole and you go out. And I have seen so many cases where these rapists have come out on parole, these pedophiles, and they've committed rape again.
Let's talk about Bilkis Bano, for example.
Yes.
A very strong message given that you can brutally gang rape, murder a baby as young as 6 months old, a full family, and you can walk out scot-free. Not only scot-free, you are celebrated when you are released.
I mean, that is one case which makes us hang our heads in shame that you are garlanding the rapists just because they come from a political party or from an ideology. I mean, crime has no color, and a criminal is a criminal.
And such this layer of crime.
In fact, if you see the protesting doctors in Kolkata, they were vandalized. As you said in your question, there were goons who came and tried to threaten them. They told the women doctors protesting that you'll meet the same fate. So many interns got scared and they've gone to their homes. And the way they broke up the hospital. So because they had political patronage. So here also in Bilkis Bano, initially they were given death penalty. By the time they reached the Supreme Court down the years, they tried to misguide the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court never said that you give them bail. They said follow the due process and let it be handled by the High Court. And there they got it commuted. They were let off, and they said no, because of good behavior. Such brutal rape. And you are saying good behavior. Luckily for all the activists who went back to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court also realized that they are trying to misuse the law, and they have gone back. But it gave the impression that what are we? We are garlanding rapists. So again, I said the patriarchy and political patronage. The biggest enemy to women's safety is political patronage and patriarchy. Because immediately it becomes whataboutry. What happened in your state? You didn't, like if you see the politicians who are debating, or the party spokesperson, I got angry the other day on one of the channels. I said, are you talking about safety, or you're trying to just bring one party and other party down? And that is the reason we are not able to handle it in the right manner.
We were talking, and as you rightly said, that political parties, there's so much patriarchy against women, and that's why these crimes against women are happening and continue to happen. A key political leader made a statement saying that crimes like this happen because men and women interact freely. Or even if you take Nirbhaya's rapist, they said that what kind of a character would this woman have if she's roaming freely at night at 9 p.m. Somehow the blame and the victimization happens towards women in these cases who are suffering something that you and I can't even imagine, right? And even the principal in this case made a comment about late nights and then retracted this comment. What can we do as a society to educate people better, to educate men better, to raise men better, to raise boys better, to become better men, so that this doesn't happen? And on the political front, what comment would you like to make?
See, if you see some data which is circulating that a lot of MLAs, MPs, they have rape cases registered against them. They have cases of crime against women, and they are there in the parliament or they are in the assemblies. So first issue is that how do you vote for a rapist that he goes and represents you in the parliament? His place should have been in the jail.
Yeah.
So this criminalization of politics needs to end. We have to see to it that none of them reach the position of power. It should be good people, deserving people, meritorious people who should be our leaders. Because if you remember, there was this politician in UP who after a rape said, "Ladke to ladke hote hain." You know, like he was galti karte hain.
Yeah.
Ladke galti karte hain. So you're calling rape a galti.
It's a mistake. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're calling rape a mistake. I mean, and that is how you are trivializing it and you're making it a normal.
Yeah.
So that needs to finish. Even the loose comments, anybody passing comments like this, observations like this, they should be condemned to the core. And then I always say that the real thing starts in the family. A mother has to teach her son to respect first his sister, his mother, any woman around. And also, mothers should not speak lies for their sons. In the Shakti Mill gang rape case, one of the boys who had raped this girl, the mother tried to say, no, he was in school, he was not there. You know,
there's protection.
There's protection. So mothers try to speak lies and protect their boys. So in fact, I feel if the mother says, no, you have committed a crime, go surrender to the police. And victim shaming, blaming is absolutely a no-no. I mean, a 4-year-old child, a nursery child, how can you blame her?
The cops asked the parents that was she riding a cycle?
Can you imagine? Huh?
Yes.
Can you imagine? I mean, this is how you try to cover up. As I said, cops don't want to show crime cases in their area because their report goes bad. Then also, corruption.
Yeah.
These criminals are so well connected. Also, the school principal, or because of the reputation of the school, immediately the school will give a lot of money.
Correct.
You know, I'm handling a case of some teachers who complained of sexual harassment that to the police station, that the principal had sexually harassed them. Even with the police did not write their FIR, and those 5 teachers have been suspended.
What?
Yes. You know, I'm representing their case. I mean, because I can't take their names. But so if you complain like this because the school wants to protect its reputation, and they will get the best of the councils, you know, the A-listers.
Right.
Like West Bengal has got Kapil Sibal.
Correct.
And now people are saying, I mean, you know, so much money is being paid, you know, 25 lakhs per appearance he's charging. And you're trying to justify that, no, everything was in order. So here in Mumbai, this is happening. I mean, these teachers have been suspended. And even before I was coming for your talk, they messaged me, can we talk to you? I said, once I'm done, I'm going to talk to you. Their hearing is there next week. They are being terminated, dismissed, because the only thing what they did was that they complained against the principal to the police station. Number one, the police did not write their FIR.
But that's what this is a common theme that's happening, right? That FIRs only are not being launched and written. If more people are aware, and now I hope that through our platforms, through the awareness that you're giving, that it is our right to file an FIR.
Yes.
And if the police does not file it, they can be put into jail.
6 months imprisonment.
6 months imprisonment. Why isn't it being actioned? Why aren't we fighting for that right to be
In fact, I am asking again and again, you tell me this section was added after Nirbhaya. It came in 2013 Criminal Law Amendment Act, and at that time it was called 166A of the IPC. 2013 to 24, how many cops have been put behind bars for not writing an FIR? I'm sure 0. Because the police will try to protect their own.
Correct.
And the thing was, if you try to protect the other party, they are politicians or there are big institutions, you get a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you see the hit and run case in Pune, the Porsche case, where the juvenile was driving, the local MLA reached the police station at 3 in the night.
Yes. To
salvage. And they tried to change the sample.
Correct.
And the doctors are behind bars because they try to put the mother's blood sample so that the alcohol content of the son, his blood sample can be turned off. So this is the level of corruption. We need to talk about this also, how corrupt we have become.
Yeah.
We have no integrity.
And anything is, you can move around anything. You can play with the law.
Money,
is
you can
effectively- yeah.
move around anything.
Yeah.
Conviction in rape cases is barely 28% because you are tampering the evidence, the forensics are not done, the cops are bribed. Then in the courts also you go for so many years, 8 years, 10 years. By the time the case comes in, the victim has grown up. If it was a girl child, it's a marriageable age. She doesn't want to come and depose. All those things come in. So actually, India, it is that you can get anything done if you are connected.
Yeah.
So that message has to be removed. If you have committed a crime, you should be behind bars. Even if you are a politician, you are a cop, you are a bureaucrat, if you have committed an offense, law should be equal and equally applied. Yeah. So that is what we lack. You bribe the police cop at the traffic thing, if jumped a signal, you get away. So I feel, we lack integrity.
Yeah.
And corruption is the new norm.
Exactly.
It is not an exception.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not.
So we've spoken about politics. Now, what is the role of the CBI? The CBI was involved almost immediately in this particular case, has been involved in other cases as well. What is the role of the CBI?
When I see this case, I'm reminded of the Sushant Singh Rajput case, because there also the CBI came. And everybody had an agenda saying that it is a murder, not suicide, because there were Bihar elections at that time and he was from Bihar. And I kept saying that, no, it's a suicide, not murder. Okay, let's see. Now you've got the CBI, let us get the report. Till now, we have not got the report from CBI that whether it was a suicide or murder, because CBI usually does not tell lies. At least in the majority of the cases I've seen is that CBI will not say anything, will keep quiet, because there is so much of political pressure on them also. But usually they don't give a wrong report. Now coming to Kolkata, if a line of thought says that it's a gang rape, like so many party spokespersons have come on the TV and spoken rubbish. So what stops them from doing the forensic? Because you will get to know immediately that it's one person or 4%. But I can say with 100% conviction that it is one man who has done it. And because it's almost 10 days, CBI has come. Kolkata Police arrested him the same day. Within 24 hours, they arrested the rapist. CBI has been there for 10 days. So, can CBI tell us the name if there were other rapists? No. CBI is now, what you read today is that they are talking about the corruption of the principal.
Yes. And the polygraphic test that they're going to do.
But why have they not made it public?
Yeah.
Because it is very easy with the latest gadgets and all that. If there were multiple, it would come in the forensic. It has not come. So CBI has not taken one press conference. CBI has not said it's a gang rape. This gang rape theory is only given by the spokesperson of the parties or by people who want to create a mischief.
Yeah.
So I feel CBI will not give any wrong statement. They have not held a press conference. They have not said gang rape. They should have said. And if it is a gang rape, then they should have arrested the rapist. Because otherwise, Kolkata Police has done a better job. They arrested the actual rapist the same day.
Correct. Yeah.
From CBI, we have got nothing.
Yeah.
So, see, immediately people say, get the CBI, get the CBI. CBI came in Sushant Singh case. It was a big zero.
Yeah.
They have come to Kolkata. They may find that corruption, which would be definitely there, but their mandate was this rape case.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the frill. It's the case.
Yeah. But they have not given anything substantial till now.
Correct.
And it's been 10 days.
Yeah.
So I feel now every political party has an axe to grind. And they think CBI will come, so it will be the central control over the state government. Otherwise, CBI cannot come directly, because only when a state asks, they can come.
Correct. Yeah.
And here the High Court has ordered.
Yes.
But I'm sure the truth will prevail.
Correct.
CBI is not like Enforcement Directorate.
Yeah.
on a lighter note.
Let's talk about laws, right? There are certain provisions that women can look to for their security, for their protection. Like you were mentioning, this is not limited to women, but it is our right to file an FIR. And if an FIR is not filed, that police can be jailed for up to 6 months. I was telling you offline that the rule where, a male cop cannot talk to you or cannot arrest you after 6 p.m. from sunset to sunrise, and how I enforced it because there was no woman cop to ask me to show my license, my driver's license. What are some of the laws that are there for women that we can educate them about right now?
Exactly, you said no. The biggest thing is that after sunset and before sunrise, no woman can be arrested. And if it is an extreme importance, it could be terror related or something, then a lady cop has to be there. So this is something is very important as this. But a lot of women go through domestic violence in India. In fact, during COVID, I would have women calling me up saying that, not only husbands, they are intimate partners. We have a lot of live-in relationships also, that we are being, assaulted, abused. If we call up the police station, there is no one to assist us. They are not coming because, but naturally, nobody would come. So then I told them that there are protection officers. Every area is supposed to have a protection officer, and they find their mention in the Domestic Violence Act.
Yeah.
The DV Act is a civil remedy which makes it clear that if you're facing domestic abuse in your house, you can call up the protection officer who will ensure that you're moved to a shelter home. Also, if you're in a marriage and your husband's beating you or facing issues, you can go to the magistrate court, and there the court has powers to not only ensure that in the house the rooms are divided, CCTV cameras are put, you get your own area. If you are teaching in a school, the magistrate can pass a restraining order that your abusive husband cannot come within 500 meters of your workplace. So Domestic Violence Act is another very powerful law. And if at times husbands don't give their wives maintenance, even in the house, they try to trouble them, but not giving them the daily kharcha, the children's fees. So that also the magistrate is empowered. If you file a DV case in the magistrate court, the court will order that this much part has to be given to the wife for her maintenance. So the DV laws are very powerful. Then, as I said, the dowry 498A of the IPC, if you are being troubled, beaten, like even now you have dowry deaths. So if somebody is forcing you that you get money from your parents for car, for so many things, at all. So then you can file an FIR under 498A of the IPC, where also there is punishment up to 3 years, not only for the husband, but for his relatives or anybody related from the husband's side who's troubling you. Then apart from this, offense like stalking.
Yeah.
See, stalking is something which for the first time became an offense after the Nirbhaya case. Like 2013 Act talked of stalking. Before that, we didn't even have a law on stalking. And what I have seen is that lot of these acid attack cases, they start with stalking. Some obsessed man or a boy will start stalking a girl who's going to school, going to a public place, and then this girl tells her parents and they feel, no, again we talked of patriarchy, they'll say, no, either you're wearing clothes like this or you are enticing him. It is not that. The girl is going to school, but some sirfira or a lafanga just follows her. So when you don't stop that boy, he becomes emboldened. And when he proposes to the girl and the girl says no, he says, the mindset is कि तुझे अपनी ब्यूटी पे घमंड है, तेरी खूबसूरती खत्म कर देंगे. And they throw acid. This is so rampant in Haryana, in UP, in Bihar, these states, and there is a surge of acid attack cases.
Yeah.
And in spite of Supreme Court saying again and again, you will get acid openly at these chemist shops, at these, all the normal places. And the Supreme Court has said you have to regulate the sale of acid.
Yeah.
But we have not regulated. So now that stalking is an offense, I always tell all parents and that if anybody is chasing your daughter or is unnecessarily looking at you, please file a case so that police can keep a track record. Also, he would get scared.
Yeah.
See, the uniform, we are scared of the uniform.
Correct.
So not only is stalking an offense, but also if the police, now the law says that if you stalk a woman, you can be put behind bars for 3 years. So people should know that stalking is just not something casual. It is a serious offense.
Correct.
Disrobing is an offense. Voyeurism is an offense. Like if you remember, there was this physiotherapist in suburban Mumbai and there was someone across the road who would keep looking at her. She somehow never reported it. And one day, she used to live in the mezzanine of her parents would live on the ground floor. She was in the mezzanine. This boy climbed up the mezzanine and raped her and murdered her.
What?
Yes. This is of Mumbai. So voyeurism, stalking, disrobing, all these things need to be reported. And they're all cognizable, non-bailable offences. That means you can be imprisoned up to 3 years. In fact, for stalking, second time punishment is 5 years.
Wow.
And they came only in 2013. So, we need not take things lying low.
Yeah.
We need to assert. The girls' parents need to be bold.
Correct.
Because they feel, if we complain, it will come on my daughter's character. No, you are protecting your daughter.
Yeah.
So many girls drop out of school in rural areas because when they cycle to school, they are stopped on the way. They are, bullied on the way, So these laws, domestic violence, sexual harassment at workplace.
Yeah.
If I am in the office, and if there are more than 10 women in the workplace, an internal complaints committee is a must.
Yeah. So
where I can lodge my complaint.
Yeah. So we have a posh even in our office.
Oh, lovely. That's good.
In terms of this knowledge as well, right? A lot of offices don't do it.
Yes.
And it's considered, I don't know, it's considered something of a by the by, brush it under the carpet. But it is very important because you need to know that there is a safe space for you to go if something is happening like that. Even in this case,
Yes.
she was at her workplace. And while it was a government college, there is some ownership even of the college authorities to ensure that you're protecting the women who are slogging 30 to 40 hours doing their duty and their job. What can people do to ensure safer workplaces?
Exactly. In fact, during the conversation, you also said even one day before now he's accepted that he was eyeing her, looking at her. And, safe place means a safe restroom. If there was a safe restroom, if she would have not been in the seminar room sleeping, that intern doctor would have been alive today.
Yeah.
So, in Supreme Court has also asked during one of the hearings that was there an ICC in place in RG Kaur Medical College? So they have to come next hearing and tell whether they had an ICC in place or it was just on paper. You're very right. In fact, recently I had filed last year only a PIL on on sexual harassment at workplace. And why? Because a senior employee of a blue chip company came to me and she said, as chairman of the ICC, 5 women in the company, they complained to me that they were being sexually abused, threatened by one of the vertical heads.
Okay.
So she conducted the inquiry, and as chairman, she found there was truth in the complaint of the 5 women. And in her report, she suggested that harsh action should be taken on that vertical head.
Correct.
And pursuant to her report, that vertical head, that sexual molester, was terminated. You know what happened after that? This ICC chairman in 1 month lost her job. She was terminated because the Cozy Boys Club, the Cozy Men's Club, they could not digest that she has given a report against one of her higher-ups. And then I read the law in detail, and then it struck me that in the government, our jobs are permanent.
Correct.
If I am recruited, next 35 years, nobody can remove me. You can do an inquiry, you can transfer me, but my job cannot be taken. But in the private sector, you have something called hire and fire. And in so many court cases, even the Supreme Court has said that with 2 months notice, the private sector, it is there in your terms of agreement, you can be transferred. You can be removed, not transferred. Yeah. You can be dismissed. So this lady who was the ICC chairperson, because she did not listen to anybody, her higher-ups, and her report ensured that a higher-up who was senior to her lost his job, she was terminated without giving any explanation. So Bombay High Court, when Chief Justice was hearing this case, I would like you to read about this case. The Chief Justice said that, I know you are saying that this is wrong, but I have no powers. So now I have gone to Supreme Court. And what I have asked is that the internal complaints committee in the private sector need to be relooked. Yeah. If a person is a chairperson or a member of a ICC in the private sector, they should have a fixity of tenure, a fixity of job.
Yeah.
You cannot use your hire and fire rule on them because you are making them a judge, a civil judge at that time that they can interrogate, they can call, summon, take statements. So tomorrow if she's taking a action against your own employee, she should be protected.
Exactly.
Her job should be
Defeats the purpose
protected.
then of putting her in
I
that
have so
place.
many women from the private sector who've come and said that the moment we have complained, we have been terminated without any explanation in 2 months. And I'm not handling one, I'm handling a couple of cases where women have lost their jobs. But women have lost their jobs, but a ICC chairperson losing her job.
That's insane.
So now I've gone back to Supreme Court and it was listed last time, and Chief Justice Khanna said, why don't you go to WCD, go to the Women and Child Development Ministry and ask them to strengthen the ICC in the corporate sector.
Yeah.
I met the secretary. I met the director. 6 months I ran around, but nothing came out of it. So I have gone back to Supreme Court saying that I have followed your mandate. I went to WCD ministry, but nobody seems to have the time to even look into this problem. Because I have suggested that if a ICC member or a chairperson in the corporate sector is being moved, then you need to inform the NCW.
Yeah.
Or like the law says that if there is no ICC, because if there are less than 10 employees, then you don't set up an ICC. But every district has a local complaints committee headed by the collector. Correct. The collector is an IS officer. So I said ki in the corporate ICC, if any chairperson or member is penalized, the local complaints committee should be informed about it. It should be investigated by the collector, because he's not under the corporate, he's a government employee, so that we can protect the ICC. Otherwise, as per my experience, I feel the ICCs in the private sector are just in name. Because if a senior is to be investigated or looked into, no ICC private sector chairperson or women employee will have the courage to go against him. I speak that from facts which are before me.
Of course, and it's data.
It's data. And this lady's case. So this lady told me, I don't want my job back, but I want to see to it that no other woman faces the same fate as myself.
Of course. And it's horrible because she was doing her job.
Yes, she was doing her job. And you know how the case came to me? Her twin daughters were studying with my daughter in school. And one day my daughter asked me, Mom, will you help her? Because the girls are saying their mom has lost the job. Can you imagine a mother of 3 young girls, 17 years of sterling career in a private sector blue chip company, and you are given marching orders? And there were other 2 ICC members. The moment I gave a notice to that company, they had been transferred to other places, so the company does divide and rule. So the other 2 members' transfers were cancelled. They were brought back so that they don't stand by her.
It's so sad.
So law is, it's mockery of the law.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I definitely believe that even with this case or, everything that we've discussed, this cannot be a namesake committee that is just formed because of formality. It's extremely crucial in the workplace. And I hope that you win this case, because then it sets a precedence for other women who are part of this committee.
Yes, because another case which I went to Bombay High Court, I found that because these are big companies, for them, their brand, reputation, they get a battery of counsels, lawyers. And the women who've been terminated, they've lost their job. They are not financially capable. So for them to fight these cases is also very difficult. And the predator is powerful. He's still there in the company. And the company has to protect his brand and name. So the company stands with the predator, not with the victim. That is
how it is.
Yeah. So, like as we said in rape, there is death penalty, but the trial takes so many years. So there are loopholes which need to be plugged.
Exactly. So let's talk about that loophole, right? And the biggest one is time. When the time passes, like you were saying in the Nirbhaya case, it took 11 years for the hanging, and there was a constant back and forth. There were so many different movements. There were people who were siding with the rapists.
Of course.
And that was a huge movement in itself. And justice delayed is justice denied. True. What can we do to fill this loophole within the system?
Yes, you're very right when you say justice delayed is justice denied, because tariq pe tariq. That's what it is. I feel the trial has to take place in a time-bound manner. If it is pertaining to rape, POXO, that for the small children, that should be fast track court, 1 month, 2 months, maximum 3 months.
Yeah.
And also this case that at times the lawyer will not be there, the defense side is not there. Maximum they should have two times postponement should take place, because if the lawyer doesn't turn up or the other party doesn't turn up, then the inference should be taken that they're trying to delay the case.
Correct.
So the time has come that you have to ensure that it is done in a specific time frame. Police also should file the charge sheet. FIR is done, but then the police says the investigation goes on for years. Till the time the charge sheet is filed, the trial cannot take place.
Correct.
So police will say we are overburdened. There is no time limit even for the filing of charge sheet. They will, so if you give a time limit, they say we are short of staff and you cannot prescribe a time limit, because if we hurry, we will not be able to investigate properly.
Yeah.
So I feel that these cases, there should be a fixed staff. They should not be used for VIP bandobast. Half the cops are only doing bandobast of the politicians.
Yeah.
Or they are handling street marches.
Yeah.
Like how it is. So serious policing, they are not there.
Correct.
For investigation, they are not there. So adequate staff, then no delays in the court. And forensics is also very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. I was handling the Salman Khan hit and run case at the lower level, at the session court level. And when there he was convicted for 5 years for hit and run. But when the matter came to Bombay High Court, he was let off scot-free. Why? Because Mumbai police had botched up the case. Even his sample, which had the alcohol thing, it was kept in the police station for the weekend. It was sent for the forensic after 3 days. In fact, after he was let off, Mumbai police came out with a circular saying these are the 18 mistakes which were committed during investigation, which is why Salman Khan got the benefit. So now Maharashtra government has gone in appeal against that order to Supreme Court. Can you imagine the police, the Maharashtra government has gone in appeal. They are not happy with the acquittal of Salman Khan in the hit and run case of Bandra, and they've gone to Supreme Court, but till now that case has not come for hearing. So as of now, hit and run cases are on the rise.
Yeah.
But we don't know who will get punishment for the killing of that pavement dweller outside German bakery.
Yeah.
So, that is how the system is.
Yeah.
Conviction of the person who's committed the crime is the biggest deterrence.
Yeah. I mean, in the Porsche hit and run case,
Yes.
where the urine sample, the blood sample, it was just so easy to kind of switch it out. And it
Yes.
only came to light because it became such a hue and cry that this person was let off with writing an essay and about traffic
Yes,
rules
yes.
and
thanks
abiding
to the
traffic
media,
rules.
thanks to the social media and
Right,
media.
right.
I mean, if you see Pooja Khedkar's case, the one who's become IS with fake disability certificates, alleged, I will say alleged to keep us all safe. Tomorrow, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a quota in the civil services for recruitment, and the UPSC says that is not our job.
Yeah.
So that means you take a fake certificate from any place in India and you get a coveted job as an IAS and IPS, where it takes years to study, levels of exam to clear.
If you clear.
Yeah. The success rate is not even 1%, less than 1%. So is it not unfair? So she knew her attempts had got over in 2020. I was reading yesterday in the paper. Her attempts had got over. She took 5 attempts from her father's maiden name, 5 attempts from her mother's maiden name, and UPSC could not detect. NEET, you see the medical exam, everywhere you're tampering things. So that means it's a systemic failure.
Correct.
And it is unfair for the meritorious students who are coming. Mukherjee, we saw 12th fail.
Yeah.
That how difficult it is to clear the exam.
It is unbelievable.
So it is very unfair that people are getting fake disability certificates. People are getting fake age certificates. Yeah. Attempts if they are trying to fool the UPSC. So an exam which is supposed to give you so much of power position, if an undeserving person comes, just like the civic police volunteer in Kolkata, an undeserving person was made a police volunteer, and this young trainee doctor lost her life in such a gruesome manner.
Yeah.
So I feel public positions should not be doled out
Yeah. And
without due verification.
And lots of verification and scrutiny.
Yes, lots of verification, because these doctors, and also there should be CCTV cameras everywhere. I'm with that, because if these doctors in the forensic, in the Porsche case in Pune, they could exchange money and they could be approached by the builder.
Yeah.
So that means there are no eye on them. People who are doing sensitive cases, like be it judges, be it forensics, there should be a contingent of the police, the investigation wing, which should keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
There has to be a fear that if you're taking money, if you're botching up the investigation, there is a unit which is looking up on you.
Yeah.
That we don't have.
Correct.
So we don't have accountability of these corrupt people.
So, to that effect, after the Nirbhaya case, there was a 4,000 crore Nirbhaya fund set up for women's security. And you're saying that CCTV is such a basic requirement, right? And it's shocking that places don't have it. Still date, it's so easy for things to go by and kind of give the law a miss because there's just no monitoring. What can be done on a national level as step one, that this is one thing that is a non-negotiable as a step one to stop crimes against women?
Even the Nirbhaya fund, at some states have surrendered the Nirbhaya fund because they did not use it.
Correct.
Because it doesn't affect them. They are getting their government salary.
Yeah.
So the states which surrendered Nirbhaya fund, the bureaucrats who were supposed to put things in place, what action have we taken against them? Like no action on the cops who did not register FIR, even though there is a law. So Nirbhaya fund was surrendered at places. Only after activists or media took up the issue, then the government tried to cover up that, okay, we are going to use it. See, there had to be centers where these rape victims would be counseled. The Nirbhaya fund was for that. It was there for counseling. If there were children born out of these rapes, they had to be taken care of. Then Nirbhaya fund was supposed for CCTV cameras. Also protecting these women. If they have lost their jobs or if they are under mental depression, you counsel them. But nothing is done. Yeah. So, and if you don't empower the victim, how will she come and depose?
Yeah.
How will she fight the case?
Exactly.
So they were supposed to give them a compensation also, amount of money which would keep them, in fact, that is how it is that you get a lump sum after the rape is, when you file the FIR, then once you've deposed, you've come to the trial court, given your deposition, then the part installment is given so that you are there to be in the full trial.
Yeah.
So that also, it takes time. Something which should come on its own, it does not come.
Yeah.
So Nirbhaya fund, what is the problem is monitoring is not there.
Yeah.
We as citizens, we become apathetic. And that is the advantage which these politicians and these corrupt bureaucrats take advantage. Otherwise, I say Nirbhaya 2 hashtag, it will be Nirbhaya 3, it will be Nirbhaya 4.
I mean, you're so desensitized, it's just Nirbhaya 1, 2, 3.
Can you imagine?
It's
even
not
this
a movie.
hashtag shows how desensitized
Sensitized.
we've become. That we cannot do anything.
Yeah. What about helpline numbers? Do you think they're effective? There are a lot of...
I was just reading a case 3 days back. This has happened in Akola, a subdivision of Akola, 40 kilometers away from Akola, that's in Vidarbh. These class 8 students, they were being sexually assaulted by their class teacher. And they didn't have the courage to tell anyone. It went on for 4 months. I read this in Times of India. And then one of the girls had the courage to write on the helpline 1098. She wrote it out there because they were scared of their identity being disclosed. So once they put it on the helpline, the child welfare committee members came to that school and they said, we want to sit with the class 8 students. And then it came out. Yeah. And the principal says, had I known, I would have done something. So these helplines are of great help.
Okay. So what are some of the helplines that women can access?
See, NCW helplines are always there in public. In fact, when you run this
we'll add the numbers.
You just add the numbers. But I said 1098 is a very powerful helpline. Then the child welfare, the Child Commission, CRPC has a helpline. So that also now all children have WhatsApps.
Yeah.
So they can be made aware. So please put the helpline of the NCW, because NCW also has the power, the National Commission for Women. They immediately can ask the police to give them a report.
Correct.
Of course, it's a toothless body. But what is the biggest strength is that once these things come out in public, like this 1098 was brilliant.
Yeah.
The Child Welfare Committee came and the person, assaulter, was arrested.
Yeah.
So, but at some places, like I said, during COVID, the protection officers' numbers were there, but they were not picking up. So then they also need to be made accountable.
100%.
So that is what is very important, that the child welfare, child line, then, in fact, all schools should have it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that,
in public, they should be displayed.
In fact, the education department should now be serious about it, and it should be the education department, when it gives a license to a school, should make it compulsory that these helpline numbers have to be pasted all over.
Correct. Yeah.
The Child Welfare Committee, the NCW, the State Women Commission, and the local police station.
Correct.
These 4 things have to be there. That I think that should be added to it. And also, like Badlapur incident, I feel the license should be cancelled.
Yeah.
Once a school license is cancelled, they will know that they are not there only to make money. Your first responsibility is to keep children safe. You need draconian measures.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, everything is not about money.
Yeah.
Akola school was a Zilla Parishad school.
Wow.
It was a government school. Government grants.
Yeah.
So, and also I feel these child committee members or the welfare officers who are there, they should visit their schools every week and talk to any child at random.
Yeah.
Which is not done.
Yeah.
They will only come when they need their haftas. When they need their money, you will see them coming. Be it the labor inspector, be it the welfare inspector, but they will not come for such things.
Correct.
So I think we as citizens need to first know that they are there to serve us.
Yeah.
And if they don't come, please complain. The problem I see is nobody wants to open their mouth. Nobody wants to complain because we are only self-absorbed, self-centered. We are not concerned about others. And if something wrong is happening, we are scared.
Yeah.
So let us not be fearful.
Yeah.
The moment we become fearless and we start complaining, half the things would become right.
Yeah.
That is my experience down the years.
And don't wait. Like if you see if there's a stalker, if there's some situation that you can be nipped in the bud, it should be nipped in the bud.
Yeah, and if the police station, if the inspector is not writing the FIR, there is a DCP above her.
Yeah.
You go to the higher up. Now, Twitter handles are there.
Yeah.
At times, I am always tagging the BMC commissioner or the police commissioner. What stops you from tagging?
Yeah.
So I feel till the time we ourselves become entitled that this is the duty they are supposed to perform.
Yeah.
That power is not to show off. It is to perform.
Correct.
I think that message has to go.
Yeah.
As we were discussing, one very important thing which I missed out, and Supreme Court also asked in the Kolkata case, is the station diary. What is a station diary? Station diary is maintained by every police station. So any cop, if they go somewhere or any incident which has happened, it is to be entered in that.
Yeah.
What time the call came that a crime has happened, what time you registered the FIR, who was the first person who went on site, all that is mentioned in the station diary. And we as citizens should know that there is a station diary, and if we have entered a police station, whether a complaint has been entered in the station diary or not. So all of you should know that if a cop comes and calls you or threatens you, you ask under RTI, the station diary, what crime have I committed?
Yeah.
Why are you calling me? So many cases, I have just gone to the court and said, I have got a stay from the court saying they are calling this person on phone. Why? Without writing an FIR, how are you calling me? So these are the rights, small rights, if you know, that without FIR, give me a written summon. I am not supposed to be called to the police station without a written summon.
Yeah. It's not oral.
Yeah. So, and the moment a call comes, we panic.
Yeah.
So please don't panic. You have a constitution which protects you. You have fundamental rights, and Article 14 is very clearly equality before law and equal protection of laws.
Yeah.
So you may be a VIP, I may be a common person, but the constitution makes me equal. So that is what I feel is very important. And again, as I say, speak out as we are doing today, and be fearless. Because if you are tongue-tied, then you will be only suffering and suffering.
Yeah. Thank you so much. There has been so much information. I think everybody here sitting here is zapped because there was so much that we didn't know. But I think that this will add a lot of relevant information that maybe inspire somebody to take that step, or just know their rights and what they can operate within.
Last thing I would say is I was never a lawyer from day one. I studied law from Bombay University only to be the voice for the voiceless.
Yeah.
So I left the UPSC. I was a class 1 officer in the government of India. Even today, I would have been a chief postmaster general. In fact, I've left 2 jobs. I was earlier a custom officer. 28 of my batchmates are commissioner customs right now. But I feel I have lived a very fruitful life, being the voice of the voiceless, being able to stand against injustice. So thank you, humans of Bombay.
Thank you.
For doing such a good job. You know, like you all are also the voice of the voiceless, and I feel happy that I am a part of you today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And we look forward to doing amazing work together.
Thank you.
Roses are red, violets are blue. And now it's time for chapter 2. Imagine being public enemy number 1, spending 28 days in jail, coming home to a family that's broken, and having every second of your life scrutinized, all while grieving a terrible loss. What does that do to a person? This is the case that shook the country and continues to do so. But against all odds, she made a comeback that no one expected. Our podcast with the phenomenal Riya Chakrabarti is out this Saturday. Subscribe to never miss an episode.